Hi everybody, it's Dr. Bob. Welcome to the channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel today if you haven't, and turn on the notifications. So I just wanted to talk to you about something that came up today. So, I like to travel a lot, and I travel all over the state of Florida. More often than not, I'm in the Central Florida area, so Orlando, or Lakeland, or whatever. And whenever I travel to Orlando, I like to listen to the radio. Basically, well, it's not just Orlando. It's everywhere I go. I always listen to the radio. The radio is my friend, and I love it. Well, I got some news today that is both shocking and slightly understandable. So, Cox Media Group, right? They own a station in Orlando called News 96.5, WDBO. Now, WDBO has actually, those call letters have been in Orlando, and so has the AM station since 1924. So that's almost 100 years. It's pretty good. Well, in 2011, actually before 2011, WDBO was an all-news radio station with some talk shows, and it had lots of local news. In 2011, they moved the station to an FM frequency that used to be occupied by a classic rock station, which is now at 98.9, and basically, with two rock stations, it doesn't help. So they took off the classic rock station at 96.5 and put the news station there. They did a similar thing in Jacksonville around the same time. And I didn't really think too much of it, because I was a kid back then, but now I'm older, and I've been traveling back and forth between Central Florida at least 3 or 4 times a year since I was growing up, and recently I've been listening to News 96.5. In fact, I was listening during the quarantine stay-at-home pandemic orders when you couldn't really go out anywhere. So I was listening to 96.5 a lot for the news. I don't live in Central Florida, but I was listening on my Amazon device to the news station. Well, I just found out today that, News 96.5 WDBO is no longer going to be News 96.5 WDBO. Instead, it's going to be a Spanish station. Now, Cox Media Group was already programming a Spanish language radio station in Orlando. It was on an FM translator and HD radio station, if you know what those are, if you have car radios or whatever. Then you can listen to HD radio in your car. Some cars are still not built with that in mind, because not everybody has come to accept it. But that's beside the point. This FM translator of an HD station had been through several formats over many years. It was an alternative rock station, and then it was a hip-hop radio station, and a lot of people got pissed off at Cox Media Group because they took they took Tom Joyner off the air in Central Florida and put Steve Harvey there instead. And then they brought him back, but now he's retired. And then it became a Spanish station after a while. And that was like, I don't know, it was some years ago that it turned into a Spanish station. It had to be at least like 2 or 3 years ago. Something like that. Well, now they're moving the Spanish station from that little low-power FM translator to the 96.5 signal, which does a very decent job of covering all of Central Florida, except for maybe Ocala and portions north. But that's to be understood. So the news station is going back to its AM 580. Now, when the news station actually moved to 96.5, 580 became a sports station and was affiliated with ESPN. And it basically was a satellite. It didn't really have any local programming. It carried ESPN radio. It was the home of Miami Dolphins football in Central Florida. And I believe it also carried some other things on weekends, what have you. I never really listened to the AM up there. I was aware of its competitor, 96.9 The Game, which is a little FM translator, and AM 740. That's the home of Orlando Magic basketball. It also broadcasts NFL games, and it's Fox Sports affiliated, so it's got Dan Patrick and all those other ones. Um, so yeah, actually, Cox Media Group, believe it or not, is keeping the ESPN programming, but it's moving all of it to HD Channel 2 at 94.5. So if you have a car radio, you can listen to it there. But if not, well, then you're stuck. So WDBO's news format is basically going back to where it started. But now it's also going to be on that little low-power FM translator at 107.3, which means it's basically just going to cover downtown Orlando, and it may or may not hit Disney World, but that's probably as far as it's going to go. Whereas WDBO FM, you can hear that station all the way down to Fort Pierce. And now I can't do that anymore. Now I got to listen to the AM, and AM is not as great as FM is, and I'm going to miss the FM. I understand that more people are listening to radio online because of the stay-at-home orders, but there's still nothing quite like the good old FM. Just Dr. Bob being a little bit sentimental. Oh well. Well, thanks for hearing me out. Leave me your thoughts in the comments if you can. Subscribe if you haven't, and turn on the notifications. I'm on Twitter at The Amazing Dr. Bob if you want to talk about it there. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.